You're the bearded devil!
Connery, god dang it. What, Scotty? You asked me to play a soundbite, and that's what I played. I said, can you play a soundbite that kind of reflects the fact that we're celebrating the 5th anniversary of this show, and you play that?
You're the bearded devil!
Come on, man. Oh, somebody's got his panties in a bunch. Don't you agree, folks? Jeez, criminy. Hey, speaking of getting panties in a bunch, how's your mother? Connery, god dang it, that's disgusting. I'm sorry you opened the door and I went through it. Jeez. Yes, it is the 5th anniversary of today, of the show of DeHuff Uncensored. We're broadcasting from the Storms Bros Junk Removal Studios. Check them out at stormsbrothersjunk.com. We have special guest appearances lined up for the show today, including 3-time Super Bowl champion Mark Schlereth, as well as 2-time Super Bowl champion Brandon Stokley, and Denver radio legend Mike Evans, and possibly some more along the way if some of the folks that I reached out to kind of interact with today's show, yeah, they're heel draggers, okay? That's what they are. We'll see. If not, that's okay. Either way, what I got is great. And I can't wait to jump into today's show. Obviously, we're going to get into news. We're going to have those guest appearances, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I do want to share one story that just popped in my head about in this 5 years that we've been doing this show. There was a point in time where I can't remember the reason, but I couldn't record the show, an episode, at the house. So I had to go somewhere and record it. And I went nearby to a parking lot, and I'm on the side of a Kohl's department store. And it's like, I want to say afternoon, maybe something like that. And I'm in the middle of a segment. I'm literally in my car with a microphone, recorder, and I'm just staring at the wall, the side of the Kohl's department store. And all of a sudden, this dude walks in front of my car, drops his trousers, and starts pissing on the wall right in front of me. I'm guessing that was Crackhead Brad. Crackhead Brad. Maybe I need a little jingle that says Crackhead Brad. Yeah. Either way, it was like a memorable moment. And then what was funny is I'm like doing play-by-play of the guy peeing. And he pulls up his britches, turns around, and then realizes I'm right there and gives me like a dirty look. Oh, I'm the one that pulled my pants down and started peeing on the wall. Is that what happened? No, sir, it's not. Go enjoy some more crack, Brad. Come on. What the hell? That was so bizarre. So bizarre. Guys, if you have a favorite moment from the show, or you just want to interact with the show, either way, go ahead, hit me up on socials at DeHuff Podcast, whether it's on my timeline or direct messages. And don't forget to subscribe to the show, enable all the notifications, and if you can, leave a comment on Spotify, YouTube, or Facebook. That does help. And, of course, give it a nice review wherever you're consuming this. Guys, we got some great news coming your way. Like I said, we have those guest appearances. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's jump into the headlines.
Let's go! Let's go!
And now, here are the headlines.
By the way, I just got a notification from Scott Hastings. He said he's about to send me something. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes. Okay? Start your timer. Let's see if he sends me something. A farmer plans to breed ugly cows. I almost said clowns. That'd be weird. We're breeding ugly clowns. Oh, boy. Who wants to honk my horn? Oh, no. A farmer plans to breed ugly cows. I don't know why I want to say clowns, but anyway, to stop influencers. God, man. Influencers are fucking with everything. Because apparently this farmer has a major problem with influencers going on to their property and taking selfies with the cows, and it's pissing off the cows. So he's like, here's a better way to deal with the problem. Let's just nip it in the bud. Let's breed ugly ones. Scotty, I gotta say this. Let's be honest. Yes, Connery? Um, he says publicly that, he wants to breed ugly cows for, the influencers problem. But we all know it's to keep creepy Todd from, down the road, the neighbor boy, from sneaking into the pen late at night. I'm just saying he's probably banging the cows. Connery, why would you go down that path? I have a problem there, Scotty, okay? Is this your first day? No, it's your fifth anniversary. Okay. Well, maybe that's it too. Maybe it's Creepy Todd, the neighbor boy from down the road, that's sneaking into the pen, and Farmer Bill is just like, I know what we need to do. Let's get some ugly cows. I gotta be honest, that's not gonna keep Creepy Todd from sneaking into the pen, dropping his britches, and going to town. That's gross. Why do we go down that path? What the hell's wrong with you, Connery? I don't know. I probably need some help. Yeah. Yes. Ugh. A Denver man loves milk so much. I'm not a fan of milk, but this guy loves milk so much, he's holding a public chug-off. Scotty, speaking of a chug-off, Connery, no, stop it. What? I wasn't going to say your mother. I was going to say, I don't know, somebody else's mother. Okay, whatever. Whatever, go away. My God. I despise milk. And I think it stems from, one, it irritates my tummy. Okay, it does. Okay, Daddy, Scotty gets bubble guts. Okay, I don't want to be all farty and bloated, after a bowl of cereal. I love me some Frosted Flakes, but not enough to be all bubble guts the rest of the day. But, but I watched a documentary on, is like, how they make milk, how they, how they farm, pigs and stuff like it. It's all disgusting. But they're talking about like what ends up in milk. First of all, if we're going to be as humans consuming milk, it should be human breast milk. Okay, Scotty, I've been saying this for years. Let's get a dairy farm for the ladies. I will be the supervisor. And listen, we'll get them all in a row and I'll start milking them. Connery, that's over a line. Okay. But oddly enough, I have the image in my head and I think it could work. Let's put a pen to paper, see what's going on. Ladies are like, no, what the hell's wrong with you? It's a joke. Criminy. Capers, crapers. People sensitive today. Yeah, that because animal milk isn't really good for us. But anyway, what the documentary said was like, there's a lot of mucus and stuff like that in there. Don't mind if, there's probably going to be, you know, antibiotics and other shit in there as well. But either way, once I saw that, I was like, nah, it already irritates my stomach. Why would I do that? If I drink anything, it's going to be like almond milk. And to be honest, it actually ends up tasting better because it just has a little bit, it's just a different taste. I like it. Okay. Not that you fucking care. God. All I know is if somehow I drink milk, I'm going to be running to the bathroom.
Milk was a bad choice.
Daddy, why are you still in the bathroom?
Milk was a bad choice.
Why are the windows down in the car while we're driving?
Milk was a bad choice.
Honey, why are you crying?
Milk was a bad choice.
Daddy, why are you walking funny?
Milk was a bad choice.
Sorry. That's it. You're welcome. Do you like milk? I can't stand it. So gross. A Kansas student or Kansas students, multiple students, are taking the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile to prom. All I can say is nope, nope, nope. I would not let that happen. Not let that happen. And it's pretty obvious why.
The last thing anybody needs through there is a slippery wiener.
All that's going to be encouraging is wiener jokes and God knows what else. God knows what else. Ugh. That would be kind of cool. And kudos for those kids for being able to rent that. Because I can't imagine that's easy to get your hands on. A giant wiener like that. Trust me, I've tried. That's a pretty big wiener. Could you imagine that? Guys, ladies, if your daughter is coming up to you going, Dad or Mom, he's taking me in the Wienermobile. Come on, just let me go.
I got a better idea. No fucking way.
Yep, next thing you know, you're pregnant. Okay? Just saying. Way to go, Oscar. Hey, listen, if Oscar Mayer wants to pay for the medical bills and set up a fund for your kid, all that shit, buy you all the stuff that has to go along with raising a child, sure. Actually, no, still no. A lot of response. If you're going to prom, come on. Just holster that pistol there, fella. Holster the pistol. Oh, my God. You know you would be thinking the same thing, right? If your daughter says, hey, Chaz is taking me to prom. Chaz seems like a real slimy son of a bitch. He's taking me to the prom, and we rented out the Wienermobile. The hell you're going? The hell you are? You ain't going. Does that come fully stocked with hot dogs? Last I heard, and maybe they changed it, but during COVID and obviously slightly after COVID, I know that when the Wienermobile would go around, they didn't have hot dogs. They weren't slinging hot dogs like they used to do. I don't know if that's changed or not, but I think they should go back to it. I mean, we're all back to our normal disgusting ways prior to COVID, right? Dude, I shot a video with Mark Schlereth where he spit milk into my face. Twice. We have the first time where we all started laughing, and then the second time, the take we used. Okay? And there's been plenty of times it's like you're drinking a beer. Ooh, this is a good beer. Dude, try this beer. Okay. You know, what's the big deal? Just go back to it. Come on, guys. It's fine. It's fine. I'm a doctor. Anyway, that was a weird laugh. Guys, we got more coming your way, including guest appearances by Mark Schlereth, Mike Evans, and, of course, Brandon Stokley. Fingers crossed that Scott Hastings gets it in time. I know he's covering the Nuggets. Nuggets lost last night. Ooh. Oh, big shocker. The defense didn't show up. That was fucking annoying. We'll talk more about the Nuggets collapsing and getting called out by Jaden McDaniels, deservingly so. But anyway, guys, real quick, put your junk in our trunk. Storms Bros Junk Removal. If your home, garage, office, or yard is looking like a disaster zone, I get it. Sometimes you don't realize how bad it is until you go out there and you're trying to clean it up. And right now we're in the middle of spring cleaning. Weather's been nice, especially here in Colorado, pretty much all of the United States. And you're like, okay, let's start cleaning up. Oh, no. Where'd this come from? I don't remember saving this. And then boom. And what you can do, this is what we like to do in our neighborhood, is we're like 3 or 4 households will get together. Hey, do you guys want to split some junk removal? And we'll just all pile it up in front of my house or your house, whatever. And then that way you can help split the cost. That's a good way to do it. Plus, it's one of those things where maybe you have some stuff, but not a whole bunch. Either way, it doesn't matter. Storms Bros Junk Removal can help you guys get rid of that mess and relieve that stress. Storms Bros Junk Removal can get rid of all kinds of things, whether it's couches, sofas, futons, mattresses, box springs, appliances, electronics. Maybe you got a big pile of wood. Maybe you have some tree branches that broke over the winter or whatever. Maybe drywall, construction materials. Maybe you're cleaning out an office. I was just talking to Rob, one of the listeners, and I believe he contacted Storms Bros Junk Removal the other day because he has an office building on, I think it's his construction site, and he has a bunch of stuff that he just needs to get rid of. And he was going to contact them and get a free quote. Basically, what I'm saying, guys, it doesn't matter what it is. Storms Bros Junk Removal is going to help you out. Contact Storms Brothers Junk right now. Go to stormsbrothersjunk.com. Get that free quote. Again, stormsbrothersjunk.com. Or give them a call, 303-736-9404, 303-736-9404. It's Storms Bros Junk Removal. Put your junk in our trunk. Let's see. I think it's pronounced Sears. And SERES is an automotive manufacturer specializing in high-end electric vehicles, as well as intelligent technology. They just got granted a patent for an in-vehicle toilet that slides under a passenger seat for mid-trip use. What kind of fun is that? None. No fun. Last road trip I was on, we were heading up to South Dakota to go to Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse. Great. I suggested it was fun. Not a very far trip, too. And there was one, because it's such a short trip, there's one time we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like, okay, I'm going to pull over. Anybody else got to go to the bathroom? No. Ew. So I go, kind of go. It was kind of windy, so I didn't want to be too close to the car. So I had to explain to my kids, especially my son, don't pee into the wind. If anything, you pee with the wind, depending on where it's blowing, or you pee out so it can be blown to the side. But most likely you want to pee with the wind. But you got to be careful because, everybody's going to be, watching you. But it was funny because my kids thought it was hilarious and interesting that I pulled over and peed on the side of the road. Scotty, I'm guessing the passing vehicles were curiously laughing as well as they saw what you were packing. Ha ha ha! I'm saying you have a small pecker. Ha 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 ha! Shut up, Connery. God. It was such a wholesome moment, and you just ruined it. Such a butthead. That's weird. Think about that real quick. It says that slides under a passenger's seat for mid-trip use. So it's the passenger. It's not the driver. So the driver's screwed. Probably because they're like, the lady's going to want to pee because a woman can't drive. Am I right, guys? No, some sexist guy made this patent. A woman driver? Are you insane? Anyway, it says it slides under the passenger's seat for mid-trip use. So it definitely can't be the driver because that's not going to be safe. I don't know. I don't want to be driving along and I'm with my wife or anybody, buddy, and all of a sudden he's taking a dump or somebody's taking a dump. I don't want that. Roll down the window. Fuck. What did you eat? Too much beef jerky. That's what happened. I told you. There's something wrong with that breakfast burrito, too. Ugh. Gross. Ugh. Anyway, guys, let's do this. Let's jump into the mailbag.
Mailbag. You've got mail.
Oh, this first one comes in from Wolfie. He says, please tell us how the podcast was conceived and if anyone's mother was involved. Scotty, I could take this one. No, you're not. There's no mothers involved. Oh, come on, Scotty. Let's just make something up. Yes, we were in a bang fest, an orgy, wall to wall, naked bodies, sweat, oil, bad decisions everywhere. No, that's not what happened. God damn it. Wolfie, come on. You're just encouraging him. Yeah, it was one of those things where my time needed to end at the radio station, so I left. And immediately, I left on a Friday. By, I want to say, Sunday or Monday, I had, because my wife said, now's probably the time you've been talking about doing a podcast. Maybe you do a podcast. And I remember talking to my father-in-law, Tim, retired battalion chief for North Metro Fire, legend in this area. I'm not joking either. He even told me, he's just like, well, you got to make sure you stay out there. Make sure people don't forget about you. I'm like, that's a good freaking point. I've always remembered that. So that mixed with what my wife said. It's like, okay, I think actually it was Monday. I had the podcast built a logo, and I had a platform that I was going to disperse the show off of that would feed into, say, Spotify, Apple, all those things, right? And then by April 21st, that's when the first episode aired, and the rest is history. And that's where it really came out from. That was middle of COVID, and it was something that needed to happen. As tough as it is financially, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't have a corporation behind me. I'm my own entity, DeHuff Studios LLC, and it's me. And as much as that part sucks, that I don't have, I don't have a company behind me to, one, help promote, and two, to give me that steady paycheck. Overall, I think it's great because it just allowed me to have more confidence in myself and allow me to be a little bit more creative. I do miss working with the guys at the radio station, whether it's, we're going to hear from Mark Schlereth here in a second, Brandon Stokley, Mike Evans, also talking about working with Scott Hastings, Alfred Williams, so many great guys. And those are just the bigger names, but also working with individuals like Ryan Edwards, who's over on 850 KOA and doing a phenomenal job. Working with guys like him, D-Mac, Mark Mosier, Vic Lombardi, Tyler Columbus, Cecil Lammy, Josh Dover. I know he's retired, but like Sandy Clough and Zach By. God, I don't want to forget anybody. There's been so many great individuals that I've interacted with over the years. A lot of people that, you give me a name and I can probably share a fun story about it. I always remember, like, Alfred Williams. By the way, I reached out to Alfred for him to send me a video. Did not respond. He did not. Not surprising. I would probably have to call him with a link already set up and be like, okay, record now, instead of him recording and then, sending it to me. Here's a funny story that not to do with the podcast, but to do with Alfred Williams. I had a lot of fun working with Alfred. His laugh is contagious. And yeah, I've shared the story about the first time I met him. It was a moment where I'm running his show with Scott Hastings. I didn't know either of them hardly at all for maybe, like, say 20 minutes. And I'm in the studio and Alfred tosses me this big old binder of draft profiles. And he's all, go make me copies. And it's like I don't know, a couple hundred pages. And I remember thinking to myself, Am I going to be his bitch from now on, or am I going to stand my ground? Because this is the moment that it has to be decided. So I was like, go make your own fucking copies. Keep in mind, Alfred's much larger than me. He's a big, tall man. And then Scott Hastings just bursts into laughter. And then Alfred laughs too. And that's how our relationship started. But it was funny. There was a moment where Hastings was running late because he was covering a press conference for the Nuggets. And then Alfred was supposed to open the show. And I think their show started at, I think it was 1 o'clock, something like that. And Alfred's, it's 12:59. I'm like, where the fuck is Alfred? And I got the sports update playing. Like, he's supposed to be in here, ready to go, headphones on, ready to talk. I don't care about what. He's supposed to be in here. And I peek out the window into the parking lot, and there's Big Al with his door propped open, leg hanging out, his left leg hanging out, and motherfucker's licking an ice cream cone. I was like, what? So I popped on and started the show. And he just comes in, sauntering through the hallway. Hey, what's up, fuckers? It was hilarious. I was irritated, but hindsight is funny as fuck. Funny as fuck. And I could go on and on about Stink and Evans. Stokley, we did a video once where he smashed a picture of Tom Brady, and it was just hilarious. It's just so dumb, but all the guys I have some fond memories of. It's to be honest, if I ever trash talk the station, I'm trash talking management. I'm not trash talking the hosts or the behind the scenes guys, because those guys I get along with. It was former management that I had issues with. Just to be clear. But speaking of my former colleagues, I reached out to them. I said, hey, guys, it's my 5-year anniversary. If you could say some words of encouragement or anything like that, that would be fantastic. You don't have to, but if you got time, please, I'd really appreciate it. We're going to start off with my guy, Mark Schlereth. Like I said, 3-time Super Bowl champion, multi-Pro Bowls, broadcaster for Fox Sports, also does color commentary for Fox, and just does an amazing job. Does the Stinkin' Truth podcast. The guy has a billion things on his plate. Used to be a side character on the show Ballers with Dwayne Johnson. The guy has a resume. Let's just say that. Here's Mark Schlereth reacting to this show's 5-year anniversary.
The Huff. I can't believe it, man. 5 years. Absolutely incredible. I mean, I can't even imagine how many shows you've done, considering, your penchant for Colorado labor law, how many times since you left the show you've been on quarantine for COVID. I would imagine in 5 years you've done at least, 40 or 50 shows. Congratulations, The Huff. An absolutely amazing accomplishment by you. Keep working hard, my friend. Proud of you, man. We miss you on the morning show. Love you, buddy.
It's so funny. That's awesome. Hey, Mark, fuck you. That's so funny. If you don't know, during COVID, because I played that video for my son. He's like, why do you say that? I said, well, during COVID, I didn't realize how sick I got on a regular basis and just showed up to work and dealt with it until COVID. Because I guess I'm missing there's like a little bone that's missing in one of my sinus cavities. So I don't do a proper sinus, it doesn't have proper circulation or whatever. So I'm prone to sinus infections and stuff like that. And I didn't realize all that until COVID showed up. And I'm like, oh shit, this is like similar. I don't know if I have COVID or do I have something else, because it was similar symptoms. So I'm like, fuck. So I'd have to go. Well, guys, I have fever. I have this, and this. It's similar to COVID. So I'd have to go get, that thing jammed up my nose. And then they're like, oh, dude, you really want to get COVID? Because it happened a lot. It did. And it sucked. And it also sucked because I would normally, I guess I just didn't realize it. I would just normally show up to the station and just deal with it. But with COVID, I'm like, Sandy Clough works there and he's old. And I kept thinking, I was like, I don't want to kill Sandy. Because normally I'd just be like, oh, fine, fuck it, whatever. I'll just show up. I just did it. I just never fully realized it. And he jokingly, Schlereth would always call my house the Petri dish, which, by the way, what I found out too is how disgusting the radio station was. I didn't realize it until late, right before I quit too, was the dust everywhere was disgusting, and that fucked up my nose. Because I hardly ever got sick once I left the station. I'll get sick, but nowhere near as bad. I blame them. Fingers pointed at you guys. Directly at you. Let's see. Brandon Stokley was kind enough to take a break from golfing and, say some kind words as well.
My man, Scott the Huff, man, I got to give you a big shout out. 5 years, I heard. Schlereth told me since you've been gone and you've been doing your own thing. So I just want to give you a big shout out. I didn't even really know who you were. But Mark keeps talking about you and Mike Evans keep talking about you, but I didn't even remember you worked at the station. So, but 5 years, man, hey, good job. Proud of you. Keep up the great work. I'm doing this for Mark and Mike. So I really, I just got finished playing golf. So I don't know who you are. I'm surprised you lasted 5 years doing what you're doing. So, and I don't even know what you're doing. So, but hey, good job on 5 years, I guess, buddy. So, hey, nice job. Take care.
I gotta be honest. One, I've listened to that like 3 or 4 times before just now. It makes me laugh every time I fucking hear it. And I gotta say this. Stokley, as busy as he is, golfing and, and following Peyton Manning around. Sorry, I'm just joking. Because they're best friends. I'm Brandon Stokley. I'm a raging Cajun. Peyton Manning's my best friend. Sometimes I like to tickle his tummy. Then he gets mad at me and gives me a nice scolding. But anyway, I like it. Whatever. I don't know. Sometimes I dream about feeding him a garlic parmesan sandwich. Okay? It's a dream I have. I don't know what voice. That's not. I'm a raging Cajun. I kind of slipped into a different voice. Well, whatever. I'm hotter than a red pepper. What's funny is I asked Stokley to send me a video, and that's what he gave me, obviously. But what was funny is he followed up with, I'll pull it up. I was like, dude, come on, man, that's great. Can't believe it. He said, how is this? I can do a shorter one if that works better. Just let me know. Listen, as much as we're joking around with these, the fact that he's like, dude, I'll do it again. It means a lot to me. The fact that these guys did these things and they got plenty of other shit to do. I haven't worked with them in 5 years. I thought that was really fucking cool. So thank you to Stokley and to Evans, or not Evans, but Schlereth for doing that. Speaking of Mike Evans, I reached out to Mike Evans and I didn't get a response. Yeah. Kind of pisses me off. Schlereth on top of it. Stokley. Oh, shoot. Let me finish this golf round and then I'll go record this video. He's on the golf course when he did it. Mike Evans. I imagine all Mike Evans was doing was, catching up on old episodes of Lost or The Walking Dead or whatever the hell he does. eating chicken wings. Maybe his fingers were too greasy from eating chicken wings and he couldn't record the video. I don't know. But he didn't send me a fucking video, Mike Evans, after all we've been through. Oh, talk about a broken heart. I got one. So, since Mike Evans was too big of a jerkhole to send me a video, I have some audio that I'll just play instead of it. So, here you go, Mike Evans. Thanks.
Michael Charles Evans, you stupid.
Yeah, spot on. Pretty much sums it all up for Mike Evans. My God. Really? Broke my heart, Mike Evans. You broke my heart. Mike is really bad at that, where he'll, I think I've shared this story with you guys before. He will, if he texts you, hey, what's this question, right? He'll ask a question. And he expects you to reply within 2 minutes. And if you don't, you'll get the follow-up text of, hello, and then he'll call you, be like, why haven't you responded? Really bitchy. But if you text him, good luck on getting a response. He's just that guy. He's a guy, though, that can put down his cell phone and not touch it for a week. It's pretty impressive when you think about it that way. I have way too much going on with my cell phone. I mean, I edit my videos on that. I do making my thumbnails, use AI now, but do that. Interacting with the coaches for baseball, my kids, thinking, I don't know if I could go a day without looking at my phone because there's always something going on. Hey, real quick before we wrap things up, I do want to mention something. I can't wait till tomorrow's sports section to bring this up because I was so freaking proud of my son, JD. He hit his first home run of the season last night in intermediate Little League, and it was really cool. First one of the season, inside the park. He had I don't know how many he had last fall ball and spring ball, but the thing is, he's got wheels. And I didn't know how he would do going into intermediate because from majors to intermediate, the bases are extended. The distance is a little bit further. And I, off the top of my head, I can't recall. But the point is, like, ooh, this is going to be a challenge. I don't know if he's going to get as many home runs because those were all inside the park. Now, that being said, he has the power and the ability to hit it out over the fence, but it just hasn't happened during a game. But, dude, so he's been struggling. He was struggling the first 2 games, okay? And he goes up there. Coach Carl tells him to do some things, and my brilliance is in contribution is, hey, if you get a great hit, I'll buy you Taco Bell. Right? Carl's giving him actual insight to like how to swing and use his legs and his hips and stuff. And I'm like, I'll buy you a beef burrito. Right? So he goes up there, first pitch, rips it to right field. Okay? And I'll tell you what, his get-off speed is insane. Quickness, my son has. I'm not quick off the line, okay? But he is. It reminded me of Alfred Williams, name drop. Alfred Williams, when I used to work with him, would always, there was a couple times where I raced him in a parking lot, and his get-off speed, basically, once the ball snapped, like how quick are you to get moving? Super, super fast. That's what it reminded me of when I'm watching my son hit and then gun it for first base. And sure as shit, dude, JD just rips it and just goes, and whoosh, he paused a little bit going to third because we're like, is the throw going to come in too quickly for him to just go ahead and round it? And then Carl's just like, no, go, or whatever we say. He's like, go home. And then slides into home, pops up, runs into the dugout, which, by the way, I posted that video on my Twitter at DeHuff, and Matt OFP said, he's like, dude, look at the hustle, and the beautiful slide, and then the hustle to the dugout, which was really cool. Mostly because the reason why he did that, he was so freaking amped. So I'm in the dugout, and JD comes in there, and he is just so excited, and he just basically almost jumps into my arms and just hugs me. Great dad moment. I was so freaking proud. And his whole team was just jacked up. There's like, that was awesome. So cool. And then he hugged me again. It was neat. But the fact that I'm like, I'll get you, my contribution was I'll get you Taco Bell. That kind of sticks with me because now I'm on the hook. and all his teammates are like, Coach, if I get a hit like that or a triple or whatever, can you buy me Taco Bell too? I'm like, come on, guys. I don't know if you met me before, but I'm fucking cheap. Okay. But then I said, guys, next game, if we dominate and you all just bring the hustle and you guys are just listening and just hustling to the ball, and like I said, if we win, okay, cinnamon twist for everyone. It's on me, kids. Hey, can I go to Taco Bell and be like, can I get a barrel of cinnamon twist, please? But it's funny because you bribe kids with food or video games, and you'll see just this monster release. It's fucking awesome. So I'm proud of you, JD, if you happen to be listening, which you shouldn't be. This is for adults only. Adults only. Ooh, yeah. Right? You shouldn't be listening. But if you are, which, that's fine. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of your entire team. And hey, it was one of those games. We did not win the game, but we sharpened ourselves on the mound with guys that have very little experience that were put in the position where they needed to get reps. So we put them on the mound, and they got better. They listened. The big thing is slowing down and moving at a slower pace on the mound where you're not rushing yourself and going, like I always say, go through your checklist. What's your checklist? What do you got to do with your feet, your leg, your glove, your arm, blah, 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 all that shit. When you stop and you think, because you've been coached plenty, that's when you're successful. So it was really neat to see the boys. There's actually three guys. JD was one of them. JD was on the mound as well. Boy, that kid has a freaking cannon. He's so much more athletic than I ever was. It's really annoying. Really annoying. But it's really neat. I'm so proud of the boys. And so if you guys have any food suggestions or you want to donate to the the encouragement funds, we'll see. Maybe we'll get them Wendy's. I don't know. I'm not going to go crazy. Come on. What are you, nuts? Thank you guys so much for joining the show. Really do appreciate it. Thanks for making this what it is. The #1 comedy podcast in the state of Colorado. We do try to have fun on this show. That's the main objective. When I left the radio station, I wanted to do a show that was going to be something that was uplifting, that I would listen to on my own, something that's not just overly trying to be funny. It's just something that essentially happens to be funny. You get some informative shit. You go through headlines and whatnot. Interesting and funny. And then, I do two episodes a week that are sports related. It, long and short of it, guys, I do things the way I do them because that's just what I've always felt is the way you should do stuff as a host and as a business owner is ultimately you want to be passionate about it. And you guys help me do that. If you're able to interact with the show, I love it when you guys can do it. I know not everybody can, and that's okay. That I get it. If you saw when I was at the station, it was always funny to me because sometimes the guys would get mad if nobody was texting into the show or very little was texting into the show. Like, dude, that's like 1% of your listeners that actually are able to interact. And now that being said, it might be like 10%. But either way, it's not a good meter to tell you how many people are listening. So if I get it. Sometimes you don't know exactly what to say. That's okay. I get it. I listen to other podcasts, and to be honest, I hardly ever interact with those. So I get it. It's fine. But I do encourage it if you're able uh, to please go ahead and do so, whether you're on Spotify, on Facebook, or YouTube. Do encourage you to interact with those because it does help spread the word. I will say this. I've had a lot of you from the beginning, and there's a lot of new people coming along, and I appreciate everyone. I do want to say this because I never brought it up. Uh, it's hard for me to say because this guy was so important as far as he would give me encouraging messages like as soon as I left the radio station. I want to say within a day or two, he was messaging me on Facebook, saying kind things, uplifting things. And he would do that through this time on the show, sending me messages, whether it was interacting on posts or direct messages of encouragement and just random conversation. We lost a big supporter of the show and a hugely just amazing person who ironically I never met face to face. And he's somebody that I would like if I mean he was like he's like, when can we meet up and have drinks? And I was like, dude, I don't know. And then like I wanted to hang out with him because he was such a good dude. And um it Troy Anderson passed away, I want to say about a month ago. And he was a huge supporter of this show. And it was really cool. Guys, when I interact with you, I'm not just, interacting. I'm genuinely engaged in a conversation with you. And he made a connection with this show and I truly appreciated him. I brought up a few months back that he was diagnosed with a very aggressive tumor on his not his spine, but like right at the base, I believe, of his brain, and it went quick. And it was, I say quick, but it was several months, and it was sad. What was crazy is like he'd be going through this tough, horrible shit, and in like a few weeks, maybe like a month prior to his passing, I'm looking at who liked my certain post on Facebook, and he liked it. And I'm like, I was like, dude, he's going through all that shit. And he's listening to my stuff. And my stuff is just purely meant to try to put, put a smile on your face. And that meant a lot. And it was cool, but sad at the same time. And so I guess in a weird way, I could dedicate this show to him and anybody else that is going through some tough shit, whether it's illness or just life sucks. Sometimes it does. I get it. But ultimately, what we want to do on this show is uplift and be positive and make fun of shit, okay? And that's okay. I like it a lot. So thank you guys so much for making this the #1 comedy podcast in the state of Colorado. Really do appreciate each and every one of you. Again, don't feel like you have to interact with the show, but you listening really means a lot to me. You watching really means a lot to me. And I can't thank you enough. Also want to say big thanks to Storms Bros Junk Removal Studios. They're amazing human beings. Go check them out at stormsbrothersjunk.com. And that's it. Thank you guys so much. We got another show coming up tomorrow. Thank you again. 5th anniversary show in the books. It's to Huff Uncensored. Let's keep moving forward. I'll talk to you next time.